It's the Black Real Estate Dialogue. Tune in. Tune in. Tune in. Tune in.
What are your thoughts on someone who wants to raise private money and get money from private investors? Like how would you suggest they go about it if they have if they are at a point where they know how to get deals, they know how to structure things, like, but they're the missing piece for them maybe is just the financial part in finding these investors.
I'd say exposure, whether that be through your local real estate association or even conferences. At these, some of them are kind of janky. Nonetheless, you'll find people with money at conferences. And even, I don't know how we found, I won't say her name.
Which one?
The
first ones?
No.
Which one? Oh, the one she's lending on.
Yeah.
Now. Oh,
how do we find her?
She found us through LinkedIn.
Okay.
Really?
They found us.
We're not even on LinkedIn like that. Now we have been, a little more active, but she literally, and that's why even when you go on our website, headwayestates.com, we have to know where like our leads are coming from. And so on our website, we have a place like, how did you hear about us? And she literally put LinkedIn.
Yeah. So
like,
exposure,
okay.
So I guess by way of LinkedIn provided us the exposure that she reached out to us. But the more exposure you can get yourself out, get out of your comfort zone, meet people, and brag about what you're doing. Brag about what you're doing, brag about the homework that you've done. I call it footwork, knowing your numbers. When you know your numbers, you can throw those numbers out in a way that is attractive to somebody who's trying to make, more than 3 to 4%, on their investment portfolio. So just exposure and getting out of your comfort zone and look for local things in your area. Like I said, real estate associations, conferences that is in your area, and you may fly to some, but those are avenues by which you provide yourself exposure and you kind of get out your comfort zone and shake hands. But that's the only way you're going to do it.
Right. A lot of people think, so private lenders are unique is that it is truly relationship and networking based.
Very
like you
true.
can't Google true private lenders. Now, there are a lot of hard money lenders out there that will pose as private lenders.
Yeah.
And one of the red flags, they're not a private lender is when they come to you with a whole bunch of paperwork and all of this red tape, they're just a hard money lender and they're using private money just to lure you in. But private money, especially for those who are listening, they're true, like just peer to peer. It could be your mom, your dad, your cousin, your dentist, your teacher, a stranger you met last week. It's just everyday people who might happen to have lots of money in their 401ks, Roth IRAs, savings, checkings accounts, home equity. We've had people use HELOCs, we've had people use credit cards, we've had people use a whole lot of different ways. So it's just regular everyday people who have a lot of money who are looking to make your money work. Our first lenders actually came because we actually flew to a conference. We went to a conference and we were actually going to work with one private lender, and something happened. She ended up not having enough money to help us, but she referred us to another lender in her network. And we pitched the deal, and then it was uphill from there.
Yep.
And literally, it was just a relationship it wasn't even really a relationship. It was just a good word, rather, that was put in about us.
Definitely. And speaking of hard money lenders, what are your thoughts on hard money lenders and working with them?
Boy, they like to play.
Yeah, tell us. And I'm glad that you have a different opinion because there are different opinions about it, but I want to hear your perspective because I think it's important for people to hear different opinions about it.
You go first.
I'm gonna go first on this one. Listen, man, they're like, the literature is predatory.
It is.
So I just say avoid them. Like, it's just, they have so many domino effect clauses and things of that nature that they actually went out because they are never going to give you 100% of the purchase price, which means that they're going into the project winning. So if you screw up, they've already bought the house for 20% under market value. And most of the time, investors don't pay market value. So whatever lowball offer that you're surprised that you got, they pay 20% less than that. And they're going to get their money if you screw up, right? So that's why I just say avoid them altogether. Figure out something else, stack or whatever. But I just think the language is predatory. I have dealt with them before, and I'm happy to have gotten out of the situations. I don't know how in the world we did, but we got through it and we were done with them. And I got tired of calling them. And I didn't curse nobody out, but I definitely know I did let them know that I didn't like the situation that we were dealing with. They even charge you for draws. So they're already charging interest and points, but then many hard lenders, they charge you on top of that. They take a percentage of the draw that they're already charging you interest and points for.
Crazy. Wow.
It's just, you better know what you're doing. That's all I'm gonna say. Go ahead, babe.
So I agree somewhat. Hard money lenders is an option, especially in this market where it's a seller's market and your price is not the only thing people are considering. It's the terms, quick closings, correct, right? So that is one of the benefits of hard money is usually you can close within 1 week, some can do 1 week, especially if you have a relationship with them and you've done multiple deals. We've closed as quick as a week with our lenders when we were using them. But typically it's around a 10 to 14 day time frame. So those are advantages and it's an option, especially when you're starting. Now, I will say you truly need to know what you're doing with hard money lenders. And if you're new, you need to have as much cushion and know what type of hard money lender you're dealing with and ask all the questions. So like, that's one of the things that we talk to our students. If you are going to pursue the hard money lender route, try to make that the last resort. And if you do, these are a whole lot of questions that you need to know on the front end. What's my interest? Do you charge for draws? What's the point? Am I paying for appraisals up front? I know you're telling me, okay, I only have 6 months. What happens if my project goes longer than 6 months? Are you charging me a higher interest rate? Are you charging me a higher interest rate and points? Is this per month? Do I pay this immediately? Do I pay it at the end of the loan? Like, there's so many questions that you need to know so you're prepared if your project, especially for newer investors, because most projects don't flow perfectly the first time. So you need to know what to expect ahead of time, and you need to factor that in when you're analyzing your deal. Don't, especially with hard money lenders, don't go based on best case scenario. Assume the worst, hope for the best, but assume the worst and put your offer in accordingly. So that's what we so I hear what he's saying. And I understand why, but don't count it out completely. Just be prepared. I'll say that.
Touche.
Yeah, that makes sense. So tell us more about Kidvestors. I want to make sure we have some time to talk about that too.
Let me talk about it first.
Go ahead.
So obviously we were inspired by our own kids, but we were like, we were in our late 20s, we're in our early 30s now, and we literally didn't learn how to invest pretty much till in our late 20s. And when I think about the opportunity cost of all this missed interest in money that I could have been making, I get upset because I just didn't know. We didn't know what we didn't know. And so we developed Kidvestors because we did not want that to be not just our kids' stories, but no one else's stories, especially in our community. What's funny is we're entrepreneurs at heart. We were just at home chilling one day. And I was like, babe, how can we, create additional streams of income, right? Because we're real estate, we're not just real estate investors, we're investors. We invest in it all. Real estate is just probably our biggest, part of our portfolio, but we invest in stocks, we invest in crypto. And so he was like, we were just trying to figure out what other streams, and he casually was like, let's do a kids book. And I was in my head, I was like, that is brilliant.
I don't remember any of that.
But I do. We were in our bedroom in the place we were at before, and my head just started spinning. So I was like, this is brilliant. So we start the process of, writing the first book. Initially, it was just going to be a storybook. It was going to be a bedtime storybook. So we write it, we do our research, find illustrator. We give it to him, and he's like, y'all, he said, this is boring. He said, nobody wants to read about real estate before they go to bed. And I'm like, you might have a point. So we start talking amongst ourselves, like, we want to teach, kids really need this. They need to learn how to invest, yada, yada, yada. And then that's really where Kidvestors was born, and it turned into an entire curriculum. Mm-hmm. And so not only do we teach how to invest in real estate, we teach how to invest in the stock market. We're teaching how to do money management, entrepreneurship, and we are going to team up and partner and teach kids and teens eventually how to learn crypto. We're going to partner with that because we're not experts in that yet. So we're going to leave that to the experts. But yeah, that's where it came from. I'll let you say. You have anything to say? No,
I mean, she's taking. I don't have anything else to say. Besides the fact I'm excited about it.
We are like, this is, how they say, like your passion, like real estate, it's fun, it's cool, we love it. But I won't say like, that's not like my purpose. Is to buy property. That was just a vehicle. It was a vehicle to get us to really focus on what we want to do. And like, we do naturally have a desire to teach.
Hi everyone, Sam here from the Black Real Estate Dialogue. Make sure to hit that notification bell and that subscribe button, and to visit us at blackrealestatedialogue.com.